Hello everyone, welcome to Box Office Receipts. I'm your host Tyler Callahan, and we got the official final weekend of the summer with Labor Day weekend. We got those box office numbers to talk about. We got news from the Venice Film Festival. Will Smith is dropping out of a movie, and of course there are streaming updates. With that said, let's start with the domestic top 5. For the last weekend of summer, Deadpool and Wolverine stayed in first place with 15.4 million for a total of 599.8 million. So yeah, give it one more day to cross over to 600 million domestic. Staying in second place was Alien Romulus with 9.2 million for a total of 88.6 million. Third place was Twisters, which moved back into the top 5. This was due in part of Labor Day weekend. It was available to watch again in 4DX, which, with all the tornadoes in the film, became a must-watch in the format. It earned 7.7 million for a total of 258.6 million. In fourth place was Reagan, which opened to 7.6 million. And in fifth place was It Ends With Us with 7.4 million for a total of 133.7 million. In China, Alien Romulus stayed in first place for the third weekend in a row with another 8.9 million for a total of 93.3 million. In second place was Go Broke, which moved up from fourth place last weekend. It earned 6.2 million for a total now of $45.1 million. Third place was Successor, which also moved up, making 3.7 million for a total of 460.4 million. Fourth place was Untouchable, also with 3.7 million for a total of 10.3 million. And in fifth place was How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies with 3.2 million for a total of $10.7 million. Alien Romulus continues to have a fantastic run in China, and in a rare event is now making more over there than it is domestically. It's stories like this that makes the box office fun to watch. Taking a look at international numbers, Alien Romulus earned another 22.6 million for a worldwide total of 283.5 million. It Ends With Us made 15.8 million for a worldwide total now of 283.7 million. Deadpool and Wolverine made 13.9 million for a total of 1.25 billion worldwide. Despicable Me 4 is now at 913.8 million, and Inside Out 2 is now at $1.66 billion worldwide. Switching over to news in Hollywood, Lionsgate is pushing back one of their films after a very rough month. The Flight Risk, the thriller starring Mark Wahlberg, which was set to come out in October, now comes out January 24th. In some festival updates, Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul is set to have its world premiere at the AFI Fest screening at the TCL Chinese Theater. Deadline broke the news that The Apprentice, the Donald Trump film starring Sebastian Stan, will have a private screening at the Toronto International Film Festival. This is ahead of its release theatrically on October 11th. In other news from the festival, Deadline broke both of these stories. First, Amazon Prime Video have bought the international rights, except for Germany, for The Assessment. The sci-fi film is directed by Fleur Fortune and stars Alicia Vikander, Elizabeth Olsen, and Himesh Patel. No word yet on when it will come out. Also at TIFF is a new film package for sale. Deadline reports it's a crime thriller called Blood on Snow, with Cary Fukunaga directing, and will star Aaron Taylor Johnson and Tom Hardy. This is an adaptation of a novel of the same name written by Joe Nesbo, who is also a part of this as he is writing the script as well. And from Venice, we are getting the first reviews for Joker Folie à Deux, and it's getting a mixed reception. At a high level, it looks like performances are great from Phoenix and Gaga, but the movie overall, not really. Not a good start for Warner Brothers, as now people will be seeing these reviews over the next few weeks, leading up to its release. Also from Venice, A24 have bought the domestic distribution rights to The Brutalist. The film, starring Adrian Brody, Felicity Jones, and directed by Brady Corbett, just won the Silver Lion Award. As for casting updates, Deadline broke the news on a few of them. First, Phoebe Denver has signed on to join the thriller Famous over at A24, which stars Zac Efron and will be directed by Jodie Hill. Annabelle Walls has signed on to Mutiny. This is an upcoming thriller at Lionsgate starring Jason Statham. The Hollywood Reporter broke the news that Alison Brie will be playing the role of Evil Lynn in Masters of the Universe over at Amazon MGM Studios. We also have some casting exits, with Deadline breaking the news on two of them. Camila Mendes will no longer be starring in I Know What You Did Last Summer over at Sony. This is due to scheduling conflicts, as she is also starring in Masters of the Universe. and Will Smith is dropping out of being in Sugar Bandits. He was set to co-star in the film, but has dropped out over what Deadline reports is scheduling conflicts as well. He will still be a part of the film as a producer, along with his production company Westbrook. The plan is for his role to be recast and move forward with production, but there might be an issue with distributors. We've talked about this film earlier in the year, and it has already been sold in some territories on the idea that Will Smith would be starring it. Well, now he's not. And again, not as the main lead, he'd be a co-lead. But they're kind of hoping, alright, Will Smith is going to be part of the movie. We're going to be able to promote the movie with Will Smith on posters and maybe interviews because he's a co-lead. And now he's not. Depending on the wording in the contract, I wouldn't be surprised if distributors tried to ask for some of their money back. Unless whoever they get to fill the role is a big movie star, which is doubtful. There are new films in development, or trying to, anyway, with Deadline breaking news of a few of them. The big one is Ocean's 14 might be in the works. While it is still very early, they report that both Brad Pitt and George Clooney are coming back for it, and they are looking to try and get Edward Berger to direct. Personally, I would like to see this happen, and Berger would be a great pick. I guess the only question I have is where does this lead the other Ocean's film that was rumored to be in development with Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling? And I believe that was set to be in, I think the 60s or 70s? Like, it was, I guess, technically in the Ocean's timeline a prequel, but I haven't heard anything about that in a while. At 20th Century Studios, there's a new comedy film in development called Lazy Susans, and Deadline reports that Amy Adams has signed on to star in and produce. Annie Momolo and Stan Chevron will write the script. And Laika is working on another live-action film. Not much is known except that it will be a sci-fi thriller directed by John Spatz, who will be making his directorial debut. He was a screenwriter that most recently co-wrote the scripts for Dune and Dune Part 2. IndieWire broke the news that development of a film called The Graveyard Book over at Disney is now on hold. This comes as numerous sexual assault allegations against Neil Gaiman have come out. George Kay has signed a deal with New Pictures and All3 Media. As part of the deal, he will also be making his own label. Recently, he created a few shows including Hijack, Lupin, and Criminal. In other news that the line broke, there are layoffs. Over in the UK, Fremantle is shutting down Euston Films and Undeniable, two of their subsidiaries, with 10 employees being laid off. For Euston Films, it's been reported the company is keeping the IP and brand, so technically they can still bring it back at any point, but we shall see, and hopefully those affected that were laid off will land on their feet quickly. Sadly, there were deaths this week. Will Jennings died at the age of 80. He was a songwriter who won an Oscar for Best Original Song for Up Where We Belong from An Officer and a Gentleman. He also won a Grammy as a co-writer for My Heart Will Go On, the famous theme from Titanic. He also was inducted to the Songwriters Hall of Fame back in 2006. Scott Simon died at the age of 75 due to sinus cancer. He was part of the music group Sha Na Na and also co-wrote the song Sandy for Grease. Aruna Vasudev has died at the age of 88. She was the founder of the Network for the Promotion of Asian Cinema and wrote books on Asian cinema as well, including Being and Becoming the Cinemas of Asia. Obi Ndifu died at 51 due to an eating disorder called orthorexia. He also lost both of his legs back in 2019 due to a hit-and-run accident. He was an actor that appeared in numerous shows, including Dawson's Creek, Stargate SG-1, and NYPD Blue, among others. James Darren has died at the age of 88. He was an actor that starred in films and shows, including Gidget, The Time Tunnel, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine, among others. And Eric Gilliand died at the age of 62 due to colon cancer. He was a TV producer and writer, most known for his work on Roseanne. Thoughts and prayers go out to their families during this time, and may they rest in peace. And as always, fuck cancer. We got quite a few trailers this week from Searchlight Pictures. They released the first trailer for Night Bitch, the comedy horror film starring Amy Adams. Comes out on December 6th. Amazon MGM Studios released a trailer for Nickel Boys, directed by Ramel Ross. The film is set to open the New York Film Festival in October. Universal released a trailer for their upcoming Wolfman horror movie, directed by Leigh Whannell. It comes out January 17th. And Warner Brothers released the first trailer for their Minecraft movie, now called a Minecraft movie. And gotta be honest, it looks very Not sure how it's gonna go, but it stars Jack Black and Jason Momoa, and it comes out April 4th. For VOD Premium, let's start out with Hulu, where it comes as no surprise that Only Murders in the Building has been renewed for a 5th season. FX released a trailer for their upcoming Ryan Murphy series, Grotesque, which premieres on September 25th. For Max, the animated series from DC Studios, Creature Commandos, will premiere on December 5th. The series is the start of the new DCU. And coming sooner is a new thriller film called Caddo Lake. It stars Dylan O'Brien, written and directed by Celine Held and Logan George, and with M. Night Shyamalan as a producer. It comes out October 10th. Peacock has ordered a new series, which will be an adaptation of a dark comedy film called The Burbs, which was released back in 1989. The series will be led by Keke Palmer. For Paramount Plus, they released a trailer for Landman. This is the latest series from Taylor Sheridan, starring Billy Bob Thornton, John Hamm, and Demi Moore. The series premieres on November 17th. Charter has gotten a new streaming service under their belt for their Spectrum customers, as they have worked out a deal for renewing the carriage agreement with AMC Networks. As part of the deal, the ad-supported tier of AMC Plus will be available for Spectrum TV Select customers at no extra cost. For Netflix, let's go over the weekly top 10 for the week of August 26th to September 1st. For English films, Incoming came in first place with 16.9 million views. The Union was right behind it in second place with 16.8 million views, and in third place was The Deliverance with 14.5 million views. For English shows, Worst Ex Ever came in first place with 8.4 million views. The 4th season of Emily in Paris came in second with 6.5 million views, and in third place was American Murder, Lacey Peterson with 4.1 million views. Earlier in the year, I talked about Lionsgate working on an animated series based on Twilight, and was wondering who would buy it. Well, Netflix did, so they'll be working on it. And coming soon to the streamer is a new drama series called Born for the Spotlight, which comes out November 7th. In the exclusive from Deadline, they report that Netflix has won the auction for a comedy film called Nonas. It is directed by Steven Chbosky and stars Vince Vaughn. The streamer spent over $20 million for worldwide rights to it and will release sometime in 2025. Nothing much going on with Disney Plus and Hulu this week, except we got a specific date for when Road Diary, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band comes out. Previously, it was sometime in October, but now it'll be October 25th. Apple TV Plus has ordered a new series called Widow's Bay, which will focus on a cursed New England island. Katie Dippold will be showrunner and writer for the series, and Hiro Murai has signed on to direct the pilot. And we wrap up with Amazon, where a Reacher spin-off is in development. Variety reports that Nick Santora and Nicholas Wooten are writing it, with the series focused on Francis Neagley from the original show. And Bosch Legacy will end after its upcoming 3rd season, which is set to premiere in March. This will not be the last we see of Titus Welliver as Harry Bosch, as he will show up in the spin-off series for Renee Ballard, who will be played by Maggie Q. I was surprised and sad to hear the news. While I thought Bosch Legacy has been okay so far, I thought the original Bosch series was fantastic, and Welliver has been amazing to watch as Bosch. So for him to now be moving to a supporting character in a spin-off is weird. Still going to give the new show a chance, absolutely, but I was thinking they'd want to keep both shows going at the same time. I guess not. And that's it for this episode of Box Office Receipts. If you want to follow me on Blue Sky, Threads, or Instagram, links to those are in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.